Yeah, because I mean, for me, like just as like a developer, if I could, even if I could just get like sort of like it up and running, and I haven't tried to get
Right.
it up and running yet, but I think it's like once you get like um basically like the front end connecting to the back end, then it's like, I mean, that's with the sheet decks thing, that's what I couldn't get going. Because once you can get it running, then you can start to play around and see which thing calls which and start to get an idea of kind of like how it all works and kind of use like the developer tools to kind of see like yeah, just like the intricate details of kind of like how it will operate.
I think,
And
Michael,
yeah.
I can help you with that, right? Since I'm working directly with these guys every day right now. I think I can bring the conversation in a way that, is very copacetic and, the great intentions we
Okay.
all have. And, you know, coming from a completely
Okay.
different position, right? Like Reiki was in this thing from day one, and there's whatever goes along with that. I can present it, I think, as somewhat of a commercial opportunity in a way, like the
Mm,
positiveness of it all and the extension of the tools and what that all means,
mm,
but certainly get you to some of the technical people at least. We
mm,
are working on the docs. I know that's happening,
mm,
but I doubt they're
mm,
going to be to your satisfaction as a dev. I don't think they're there yet
mm.
at all. Right? It's not going to be the
Ye-
kind of thing you can turn over and, like you said, just spin up an instance. But we could probably get them to spin up an instance for us to start at least playing in, so you can see the
mm.
functionality right at the user
Well, it'd be
level.
nice. Well, it'd be nice actually have it running on my computer so
Of
that I have
course, I know, I know.
like the dial on my computer calling maybe even like a little
Mm-hmm.
test node on my computer that's like, and I can see it calling the
Mm-hmm.
smart contracts and all that kind of
Yep.
stuff, because
Yep.
then I can start playing and start to see, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's actually like start to look
Mm-hmm.
as like architect and kind of see how to build a UX around it and start to kind of do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's sort of like where I'd like to get to if we're going to use this toolkit. Because,
Sure.
Reiki, have you seen the Open Zeppelin stuff as well?
Uh, I've heard of that, but I know nothing about
So Open Zeppelin, basically, a lot of the big blockchain projects are built on Open Zeppelin, and it's basically like an open source library, and they got like all like the token contracts and governance contracts, and
it. Mm.
basically all the smart contracts to build pretty much anything. And a lot of the big projects are built on it. So it's a bit like Lego. You just like, okay, I need this smart code to this one, and this one. You basically start to hook it all together, and then it runs on pretty much any blockchain. And then there's like a cool library I found also called Ethereum, which is like a .NET Ethereum library. And then you can basically you can use that then to call the smart contracts and stuff. And then because like I've been most of my experiences with .NET development, so like what I was looking at was kind of how to do this through .NET and stuff. But yeah, I'm open to exploring other avenues. But that's also just something else that I thought was pretty good. And they've all been security audited and everything, all these tools and stuff. And also, I've been using. Have you played a lot like at all with ChatGPT?
The mansplaining as a service tool.
Well, from a coding perspective, it's like incredible. Like I can tell it like write me a smart contract that does
Yeah.
this, and actually writes out the whole smart contract, and then I can just tell it write me an interface that calls that smart contract.
Well, so a quick heads up right now, that could be a design constraint or opportunity for Region Civics is I'm positive Open Zeppelin, and I'd have to check, but I'm pretty confident that it's not the same smart contracts we're using. Very likely it's Ethereum and like the major blockchains. We
Yeah, yeah,
chose
Solidity,
to use
yeah,
those.
Solidity smart, yeah, Solidity smart contracts.
Right. And we might be able to do that, especially with the latest Solidity update that allows it to be fee-free and allows a company to pay for it.
Oh,
But
really?
ultimately,
Okay.
we chose to not use Solidity and Ethereum because of the fees and slow. Um, and that just wasn't the user experience, and well, it wasn't the experience I wanted, especially because those fees are going to end up concentrating wealth. So even from like an economic and a financial systems design perspective, it's the same capitalistic story we have today, where a minority is going to be collecting fees on the majority, and that's just going to keep happening. So we just avoided that from the beginning. That might have been a
Mm,
terrible decision 5 years ago because all the value and money and investment and all that happened in the capitalistic design world, which is fee based. We chose this rate limiting thing, which is how Seeds works, which is you need to have some tokens staked, and then you get access to bandwidth indefinite.
But isn't that like paying as well?
It's kind of, it's being co-invested because you can actually exit and you could potentially exit with more than you paid to come in with. The ecosystem as well.
Mm,
So everyone's
sure.
invested, but you're not paying to use it, if that makes sense. So it's a completely different paradigm that was more aligned with what I was seeing as the future. I don't think
Sure.
investors believed that one, and it didn't, end up winning out as far as the community is concerned. So that's where we're at with
Sure.
HIPAA. HIPAA is still fee free, and it's still really fast. So our thesis is once all the blockchains connect with each other, which is what's happening, they're building bridges all over. Then where is all the value going to flow? Is it going to stay in the fee world, or is it going to go to the fee free world? So that
Mm,
thesis may or may not play out. I don't know. But anyway, so Open Zeppelin is probably using Solidity, which is
yeah,
still
it
all
is
the
using,
contracts that are fee based
yeah.
contracts rather than the fee
Mm,
free world that we've built everything on. Um,
yeah, it is Solidity, but they are like sort of like Polygon and Avalanche and stuff like that. They're it's like literally like 1 cent a transaction or something like that. So it's
that's true. Yeah. But 1 cent a transaction is still something. And also it requires that you have those tokens available to pay, and it does create a user burden. And
mm,
it's happened to me a bunch of times too, where I'll go to an ecosystem to go and play around. And then it's like, oh, you can't do anything until you have tokens. And it's like, and then I
yeah,
just,
sure.
but anyway, I don't know.
Mm,
And as far as the alliance is concerned, we are multi-chain. So we do have a Gnosis safe. We are planning on doing stuff on Ethereum. We currently
mm,
haven't found any DAOs that really seem worthwhile. And again, the idea of voting or paying to vote, paying to participate in governance just still hasn't made sense. So anyway, that's been our current holdup, and hopefully that maybe brings more light or confusion to this.
And what about
So
like,
very practically, sorry, I was
go
just
for
going to
it.
say one thing. I'm very practical because I also have another call coming up, and I just want to get a bit of clarity because we have to do things the next couple of weeks. How could this potentially flow from here? Probably more from the technical side of things, or even practical side of things.
Um, Technical and practical and all those sides of things are, let's get the alliance set up where we have a representative share of what we're all brought to the table. So that's my immediate next step for the alliance, is getting all the different orgs and projects that are there represented in this alliance so that we can fundraise together.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next step would be designing the UI. So not jumping right into building code yet. What's the experience we want people to walk through? So there's a bunch of ideas already out there, but it's collating it, agreeing on it. That's the next very practical step, is what are we actually wanting to build?
Mm-hmm.
And then by that time, who knows, that might be 6, 9, 10 months or however long it takes to get to that point. Then we'll look at, forking it and what code base that we actually use. Do we redesign this on Ethereum? Do we, fork Haifa? Do we work with Haifa? Whatever. We can answer that question down the road. But the very first practical things is, let's get those token distributions, because that can go with us anywhere. So at that point, it's literally just a database that says who owns what. If we want to keep that with Haifa, fine. If we want to copy that and move it to Ethereum, we could do that as well. So this is kind of just going through the process of setting up the alliance. If that makes sense.
I mean, I still see another platform being built, Rieki. Like I see two platforms actually being built. And happy to contribute to both of them. So I'm still looking at, how can we partner with Haifa in this frequency village version of it? Because we're starting now. Dominic's already started working with us, and so is Michael. And we've got this grant application going in, submitting. So we actually have to do actually some quoting and also some design stuff to submit with that grant. So that's kind of our practical deliverables in the next 2 weeks, probably 1.5 to 2 weeks, because we have to still get a couple of quotes for different pieces. Like I said, I'm happy to contribute the things that we're developing into this pool. So just trying to figure out how we can work either with Haifa, because like I said, Michael was talking about was it Zeppelin, whatever it's called,
Open Zeppelin.
Open Zeppelin. So we're just trying to figure out. I would prefer to work with Haifa personally, and Michael's got a lot of experience with Open Zeppelin. So we're just trying to figure out, how we can make that happen.
Well, I wouldn't say I have a lot of experience with Open Zeppelin. I just played around with it, so I wouldn't say
Okay.
I'm not a blockchain expert or anything. Yeah, but yeah.
Then let me propose this. Does Frequency Village have a DAO yet?
No.
on here? Well, we can get you set up with one here. So I'd say get into Haifa and ask to have one set up. And then you can go through the process of doing the exact same thing we're going to do with the Alliance, start issuing tokens for people who have already showed up and start having that reflected. So that's really powerful. And that's what I'd say are the immediate next steps. And we'll do that with the Alliance as well. And then where we end up in the future doesn't matter because we can always copy and paste what we've done here and send it somewhere else, right?
Cool. Yeah, I just need to understand this a little bit because at the moment we're staying really small and we're moving really fast, and I'm not sure when we're going to become a DAO. Maybe it's
Totally. Yeah, I think the thing would be to basically for Domenic to see if we can get basically the instance up and running, like preferably in my environment. Like I sort of see how it works and all that kind of stuff, and then just take it from there. And then kind of also play around with the open Zeppelin stuff a bit more and sort of like then just kind of make a technical assessment about sort of like how to go, because I have to just see like how complicated the code is and yeah, like just how easy it is to extend and change what it can do, and it's going to be a little bit tricky if there's not, like, for example, like the open Zeppelin stuff with like a lot of documentation. It's like all these smart contracts are like detailed, like what they will do. So it's going to be like a thing to navigate. Like versus, I mean, I love the videos and everything about the Hyper tools that look like incredible and all that kind of stuff. So it'd be cool to play with that and see how far we can get without documentation. And then
and I can't even opine on that. For all I know, it's a bunch of spaghetti code and it's terrible. I hope that's not the case, you know, but I literally have no idea because that's not my forte. So I'd love your perspective on that as well, because ultimately these are all just tools. You know, we're carpenters building a new civilization. Let's use the tools that we need to make that happen and not get a particular tool set. So I'm not, the Alliance itself is not. And we're just looking at what's the most practical, effective tools to use to get the job done. So yeah, if we're aligned on that perspective, fantastic. And
cool.
Yeah, cool. Sounds great.
Awesome. Thanks again, Rieki. Yeah, great chatting to you, brother. I'm glad Daddy Life is treating you well, and you're learning lots.
I mean, it's going to be reflected in this series. I'm going to start a series about that pitch deck I just showed you, which is really the whole story of the movement from my perspective, at least, how people can get involved. And it starts off with, man, all the traumas from our current civilization that prevents us from really showing up in these groups.
Yeah.
You know, all of our movements we keep trying to form that keep getting, brought down by all the traumas that we're holding on to. And those, I say that because that's what my son's bringing up very much for me. Ever since birth, he's just been this like, hey, did you know you have that stuck in you? Well, let me bring it out of you. I'm like, oh, it's been a freaking ride the last little while, but man, I'm so grateful for it. But it's difficult. So that's where I'm at.
Awesome, bro. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, sending you lots of love, and thank you for sharing all of this. We just keep on the same trajectory. I like the Regen Civic stuff a lot. So I think let's also follow that down the road as well. We'll be in touch. I think we'll have a chat with Michael and Dominic, and then we'll come back and maybe we'll write you a message, and see where we go.
Awesome. And then definitely come to that 22nd at 1500 UTC. So save the time.
How do we get a link to that or something? Is there a meeting invite?
Yeah, and join the Regen Civics Discord anyway, which I'll send you all an invite to in the calendar. So.
Okay, cool. That sounds good.
All right, buddy.
Cool, brother.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Nice to see you.
Cheers, gents.
Everybody.
Have a
Thank
you. Have a good day, guys. See you later.
Cheers, everyone.